And we're live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours. And welcome to another scene for the vampire venue of Darkness in Dublin. This evening, scene takes place in the home of Miss Charlotte Monroe of Clan Toreador. She's has set up a meeting and has extended an invitation to Primogen Fleur Noir, the Toreador Primogen, and she has invited her to her home for the first time. Now, this is the place where Charlotte would normally reside, but considering the price on her head at the moment, it is not very advisable for her to be residing here in these nights. Um, The home is as you see it. There's an iron gate that circles, there's shrubbery, there's trees, there's plants, um, particularly rose bushes, which is as a Toreador to be expected. The home is a three-story home, as you can see, and there's a driveway that Fleur can park her car, or she can be dropped off in front, whichever she chooses. And I'll let you do your intro.
Fleur is very relieved to hear from Charlotte and pleased to be invited to her home. Um, she will opt to be dropped off uh, by one of her people. She has staff. Um, and she will take in the outside, the exterior of the home before uh, walking up to knock on the door. She very much appreciates the aesthetic.
I will
But yeah.
remind that Fleur does have a key, so if she wishes to just enter,
Oh, right.
she is free to
Then, yeah,
do
she'll do that.
so. Okay, so as you enter, let me change the picture right quick. You will see this. That
Nice.
yes, that that torn up chair is not there. Instead of the chair being there, there's a small side table, where
Okay.
there's like a glass bowl, with maybe keys or loose change, rings, bracelets, things like that. There is the crown molding. So the room off to the side, it doesn't look like that. From what you can see, it looks like, I don't know, maybe a drawing room or a study. There is a piano peeking out. But this home is very nice. It smells really clean. Um, and um, you will see Charlotte walk out from there's a door that opens, and Charlotte will be standing there. And upon seeing Fleur, she kind of bum rushes her and hugs her a little bit, and um, it looks like she's been crying because her eyes are blood stained and pink from the tears that have been filling her eyes.
So Fleur had been looking around, and then upon hearing the door open and turning and seeing Charlotte, she like instinctively opens her arms to catch her as she hugs her, and she hugs her very tightly back.
Um, she's dressed rather shabbily. She hasn't necessarily had the opportunity to change her clothes. Um, and I will actually send you a link to what she's wearing on Discord.
Okay.
Okay. Now
Okay.
for the viewer, she's wearing she's wearing pants, jeans. It's not something that Charlotte normally wears, and she's wearing a black tank top with blazer over it. And are those are those combat boots? Is Charlotte wearing combat boots?
Yes.
Yes, Charlotte's wearing combat boots.
I mean, Fleur can appreciate that aesthetic. She wears things like that,
Yeah.
um,
Um,
especially on stage.
mm. So from what you've seen about Charlotte, she doesn't seem to dress like that
Right.
in polite company. But she's been rushing around. Um, um, she hasn't had time. She's only slept. She slept last night, but Fleur will know that considering that her ghoul was with her, that Charlotte has just returned from Romania.
Hmm.
They were in a very small village last night looking for Aishar's true name, and they may well have found it. Um, they found his date of birth and a possible way of stopping him. So,
That's amazing.
yes. Um, she looks exhausted. She looks worn out. She looks upset. She, like I said, she looks like she's been crying. Um, she doesn't. She's not wearing the amount of makeup that she normally wears, that you're used to seeing her in because of how she's dressed. But she does still have like a faint hint of perfume on her. Um,
Hmm.
but um, she'll hug Fleur, and um, she she's kind of distressed. And she'll tell you why. Um, because since I'd say probably one step, if that's okay with you, since there was that hesitation because of her possible position as sheriff.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. And so she'll invite Fleur into this room, where they can talk. Let me pull up a different picture. And there you go. Um, it's a really nice filled library. There's several couches, um, chandeliers hanging from the ceiling. There's You're not sure, but it looks like she's got something that looks similar to a refrigerator, and a water bath, to heat something up, maybe. And next to it, there are really nice crystal glasses, sitting on a tray. And so she'll pull Fleur over to one of the high back couches, and sit her down, and she'll look at her, and
Her her face and eyes are full of concern and worry.
I there's so much has been happening lately. And I haven't seen you. It's been really stressful. Um,
I know. I wanted to go with you to Romania, but it happened so fast I
yeah,
wasn't able to.
for me it was very short notice, but I feel like I should fill you in on what's been happening. um,
She nods.
where do I start? Um,
She takes her hand and squeezes it.
okay. And so for the viewers, um, Charlotte will be filling Fleur in as to the events of the past few nights, to consolidate it and to put it into concentrated form. Essentially, um, Keeper Alexander Rothschild has planted the seed in Charlotte's brain that she has the potential to become the new sheriff of Dublin. Um, after he planted that seed, they shared a moment with one another that made her feel connected to him. And she they did a duet on his piano in his home. This is the second time that she's been in his home, um, and it it went very well. And so Charlotte will tell Fleur that. Um, the same night, she went to speak with Seneschal Beaumont about garnering his support for her to gain the position of sheriff, um, telling him to consider what it would do for his clan. It would make the Primogen very happy. Um, Charlotte's very capable. She's proven herself to be very capable um, in combat. Um, after that, um, what happened? I think the next scene that I did was with Ambroise of Clan Lasombra, and she essentially spoke to him about the. Oh no, that wasn't it. It was they were in Elysium, and we Katya had asked to speak with Charlotte, and she had informed Charlotte that Clan Tremere uh, has has proclaimed that they want her dead, dead. And um, there is a new Red Alistor in the city, who is a Toreador. Um, after that, she spoke with Ambroise about Fleur and Rothschild because Ambroise is former Sabbat. The fact that he cares so much about Katya. Um, Charlotte was seeking his advice on how to keep loved ones safe, essentially. She had offered something, well, suggested something in good faith to him because he lacks the ability to love. He has it in his heart, but it's not there, essentially. Um, like he lost it, he gave it up. Um, and so now Charlotte is interested in venturing forth to Rumpelstiltskin's pawn shop to kind of see what she can do to maybe get that back for Ambroise. After that, it was off to Romania. Nothing bad necessarily happened that we caused. We weren't in breach of masquerade or hospitality or anything like that. Um, found Aishar's true name, got in, got out, essentially. That's what we did. Before we left, um, there was a sound of hunting horns bellowing in the air. Because, out of character, a certain fucking blue blood had suggested to the local Samichi warlord that I don't really want this person returning home. Can you take her out for me? Therefore, being in breach of hospitality. But that remains to be seen at a future date. Um, and so, yeah, Charlotte will essentially tell Fleur all of this. Like, everything that's going on, everything that's happened. Charlotte is still vying for the position of sheriff. She has essentially signed up for a competition or trial of sorts that is to take place at some point. The Charlotte's main concern for is for not only for herself, but for Fleur and Rothschild at the moment, because of the fact that she has a target painted on her back. It is very possible that the two of them now have targets painted on their backs because of her, and she's very upset about all of this.
So for
Um,
Fleur's part, listening to all of this, she does shove down the slight bit of jealousy that she felt over uh, Charlotte's connection with Rothschild. But she, for the most part, is very concerned. She will offer to go with Charlotte to speak with Rumpelstiltskin because she doesn't feel that that's something that she needs to be doing alone, especially with the target painted on her back, that going places alone might not be the best idea.
she will mention
Um,
to you that she does have a major boon from Mithras, and Primogen von Essen has confirmed that that is the only reason that Charlotte's head is still on her shoulders right now, because the Tremere don't want to piss off Prince Mithras of all people.
I mean, that's a good idea. So don't piss him off. Um, Fleur will say that it is a good idea that until we know the outcome of whether or not she would be sheriff, to not further the blood bond. So she won't push that any further until they know the outcome of that competition. She is proud of her for going for that position, and she feels that it would be good for her. Um, Fleur does reassure her that she has been doing good things, and despite the hardships, that she believes that she would make a good sheriff, and she believes that despite uh, the deeper connection created with the first step blood bond. Um, then she'll look to her and she'll say, "Is this why you were crying? Just everything going on, or was there something else?"
This is everything that's been going on. It's been one stressor after the next, after the next, after the next, and it goes on and on. And Charlotte will actually, she's gonna offer Fleur a drink. I'm not sure if Fleur necessarily has any feeding restrictions, but Charlotte may be
Nope.
able to accommodate that.
Nope. No feeding restrictions. That is a flaw I did not give her.
And so she'll actually walk over to it. It looks like one of the stands with the lamps on it, um, but it's placed in a corner, and there's like a shallow basin where you can fill it up with warm water. Um, and she'll open the door to it, and it's an actual refrigerator. And there's two stacks of blood bags. There's one on the left and one on the right. And you can't really see the one on the right, but it looks like Charlotte's rummaging through the one on the left. And she'll pull something out. It's probably like, I don't know, O positive or something like that. And she'll actually take she'll fill up the basin with warm water and place the blood bag into it to warm it up. And she'll look at Fleur and she'll say, "I know it's not necessarily as good as the as coming from straight from the source, but this is my domain, of course. And I do like to offer hospitality where I can."
She'll smile to her and she'll nod and she'll say, "It's quite all right. I do the same thing."
You know. And so once the blood bag is heated up, she'll she'll pour it into one of those really nice crystal glasses. And she'll bring it over to Fleur and hand it to her.
She will take it and smile to her.
um, with everything that's been going on, it's a lot to deal with. I'm uh, sometimes I don't know where to start with all of this. And as you know, it's rather difficult to kind of just stop and take a breath for a little while. And she and she'll actually um, she'll unlace her shoes and take them off, and she'll kick her feet up onto the couch and kind of like curl up a little bit into a comfortable position. You'll notice that on the side table, um, there's a first edition copy of Dracula, which she's been reading. She's almost done with it. But I informed our our keeper, the keeper, excuse me, of our connection earlier. It's it's loss, I fear, and I don't like it, and I don't want it to happen, but it may well have. I just hope that me being honest with him about everything, he'll see that, and he'll understand. And accept things and accept me as you have accepted me, because there are the two of you are the only two people in this city that I trust the most. Um, opened up to both of you in much the same way, I think.
Do you think if I speak with him that might help?
I'm not sure if that will if that will help or hinder things. I don't know.
Well, the last thing I want to do is make anything harder for you.
I mean, you weren't making anything necessarily difficult for me. It was my choice. And she looks very matter of fact when she says that. Um, yeah, I just feared
I,
with my past the the feeling of loss of someone you care about, or the potential loss of someone you care about and someone that you trust,
it's a lot.
possibly is it's the most difficult thing that some of us ever have to go through, because as kindred, there's an instinctual lack of trust there, because we lie and we lie and we lie to one another, and we connive. And but the thing here is, the two of you are the people that I've been most honest with. And she looks a little, um, I wouldn't say resentful necessarily, but um, she's I think she's wishing that things would have worked out differently.
Yeah.
I would say not resentful, but possibly remorseful a little bit.
Hmm.
Not toward Fleur in particular, but more towards herself, I think.
Well, Charlotte can tell that some of the words that she spoke, especially about trust and having to lie and things like that, kind of got to her a little bit. There's a look on her face. Charlotte can tell that there's something weighing on her mind.
And she'll grab Fleur's hands. And she'll pull Fleur against her, like she's pulling her kind of like to lay on her a little bit, like you're like not
Yeah.
sleeping, but like you're laying on your head on someone's chest. um,
Yeah. She
and
pulls her in.
she'll lay Fleur down and tell her to get comfortable. She can take off her shoes if she wants to. And the couch is big enough for the two of them to sit on, and she'll kind of she's not gonna use any of her presence to kind of calm Fleur down, but she's just gonna kind of just try to ease her mind a little bit. Um, I don't have any empathy. Um, at least not as she does have some empathy as a person. Okay, there's a difference. um,
Maybe you should buy a like one dot of empathy for her.
maybe.
Being around Fleur would probably give her some anyway. Uh,
Um,
Fleur has a lot of it.
yeah. I mean, it's necessary. She does have the sanctity merit, but I don't necessarily.
No,
Um,
you could just roll straight charisma if you want. It
um,
doesn't raise the difficulty because empathy is a talent. So,
yeah. Um, so would Fleur be offended if Charlotte used her presence or entrancement to calm her down?
um, well, that's not really what it's for. It's for getting people to do what you want them to.
But I don't necessarily know that awe would come into play there.
Um, no. I would just make a charisma roll, like
I'm
just
just
a normal,
I'm gonna go ahead and do that then.
because she has enchanting voice too. So remember that reduces the difficulty by two.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got two successes.
Awesome. So yeah, she, essentially can soothe her enough to calm her
Mhm.
with whatever she is doing or saying.
She's basically just giving Fleur saying calming words, like whatever it is, you can tell me it's okay. I'm not going to see you any differently because of it. You can trust me. She'll actually stroke Fleur's hair a little bit.
She looks to her, especially when she says, "I'm not going to see you any differently." And she'll say, "You've been so honest with me and trusting me. And there's something that I think you should know about me that I don't tell anybody."
What is it?
She closes her eyes and she takes kind of a deep breath.
Charlotte's gonna make a joke, and she's like, "Do you dye your hair?"
Yes, every night.
To kind of to kind of just uh, lighten the mood up a little bit.
She chuckles and she said, "Actually, I dyed it before I was embraced, so it's constantly this dark," which is fine. It fits my aesthetic. Um, uh, I am not exactly as I seem.
In what way?
My my blood is not actually Toreador. And she
Charlotte,
says that with a measure of pain, like she wishes she had been embraced as a Toreador, to be perfectly fucking honest. Like,
Charlotte's eyes kind of widened a little bit, like whoa, okay. Um,
I am a bloodline of possibly Toreador, Malkavian, and even Venture, we are called. the Daughters of Cacophony.
Um, Charlotte looks like she's heard that name before. So,
But
given the technicality of it, you are still you could you could still be considered a Toreador, so it counts.
that's the way the Prince of Paris saw it too.
I am his great grandchild.
You are, and
It,
he.
she actually looks a little bit smug when she says that. Like she's trying to make her smile. I got it from my great granddaddy. Mm-hmm.
But if the wrong people find out, then I could be hunted, destroyed by the Black Hand. Because we were their experiment and they decided that they didn't basically want to play with us anymore and they're eradicating everybody.
Well, I mean, there are clans out there that masquerade as other clans all the time. I once knew a follower of Set who actually was masquerading as a Ventrue.
Followers of sets are not very popular, so I can see why they would try to masquerade as something else.
Exactly. So masquerading for your safety is different from than masquerading for a lack of popularity. We all do what we need
Of
to do to
course,
survive, don't we?
we do. It's just, I'm afraid that if some people found out that they would think that I'm just a, I don't know, a pretender.
Oh well, they're not gonna find out from me.
She smiles to her.
I mean, you're still my Torito Primogen, and you do a damn good job of it. So
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
I mean, I'm not the kind of person who's gonna be like, oh no, you're not a Toreador. Oh, woe is me. And she'll actually uh, like press the back of her hand to her forehead like she's fainting or something. Um, I mean, if there if your bloodline is descended from Toreador, then it doesn't matter to me. If you were, I don't know, a Nosferatu pretending to be a Toreador, yes, I would take great offense to that, but I don't think you don't behave like a
I
Nosferatu.
she shakes her head. No.
And Charlotte
It,
will hug her and she'll put her arms around her neck and hug her.
she'll press to her and she does sigh very deeply as if she's like relieved to have told her and everything. She will reach up and to her face and wipe away the few tears that were forming.
Um, and Charlotte will she'll just smile at her and tell her it's okay. It's okay. I mean, I don't think that. I mean, I can think of a few people who would speak to properly
Take
that, but not me.
She nods. I love the clan Toreador very much. They have been my home really since I was embraced. Your great grandsire took me in as if it was no question of where I belonged.
I mean, you belong right where you're at. I mean,
The only difference is that I do there's thing that goes on in my head there is constantly um, music or song that I hear playing. It's like, and I get used to it. It's like white noise in the background, you know? But there are times if I get stressed or something that it becomes a bit more overwhelming and I get very distracted by it.
Can I ask you something?
Of course.
Is it is it like having a song stuck in your head that's basically playing over and over and over again?
Yes, and you can never get rid of it.
I
Ever.
I imagine that's very annoying.
It can be, and distracting.
Imagine you
It's
very
like
distracting. Yes,
it's like a very low level of your enthrallment happening all the time, just a constant distraction.
that's yeah, that's I can see how that could affect somebody the way it does.
But it, for the most part, it can be comforting because I know that connected to others of my kind through it.
That actually, in a way, makes sense because
Oh,
if you think about it, and she seems to have a very lighthearted demeanor around flirt a lot of the time. If you think about it, when you're on stage, you won't ever forget the lyrics to any of your songs.
that's true because they're not just in my head.
Mhm. Yeah. She actually looks like she's trying to cheer Fleur up because she's really not wanting to see her distressed or anything like that. So she's cracking jokes, which which like she doesn't normally do that, but around Fleur she does.
Which Fleur fucking loves. Like she loves that Charlotte feels like that she can just kind of let loose around her and be
Mm.
like this.
You'll notice that she has a really odd sense of humor a lot of the time. She
It's great.
she really likes puns. Um, she's very punny. But but yeah, she'll tell her that it's okay um, um that it's all right and that Charlotte's essentially she's not gonna like sell her out or anything like that.
Right.
So
Which she knows. It's
yeah,
just, you know.
like with the blood bond, obviously her secret's safe with her,
Hmm.
um, but hearing Charlotte say that is a little reassuring.
For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. Um,
Um, but yeah, she'll say. But even before my embrace, I always had an affinity for music. That's probably what drew my sire to me. She was one of my music teachers.
that's taking advantage.
A little bit.
I mean, to be quite fair, my sire was like that a bit too, but in a very different way. I think
I don't know that I will ever embrace a child.
hmm,
I don't know that I'll ever do that.
the thought has crossed my mind, but that's not necessarily a responsibility that I wish to bear. I think being sheriff would be easier.
For me, it's more not because I don't want to, but because of the way that I don't I don't want to put hardships on another like that. You know, unless somehow, some way my bloodline is able to be open about who we are, I don't want that for somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Um, that's very understandable. I think a lot of the time, most of us don't really have a choice in the matter. but it's good to know that you're not willing to embrace like that.
She smiles.
I think it shows your regard for humanity.
I try hard to stay connected to it. I don't want to become like others that I've met, being so disconnected from humanity that they no longer regard humans as valuable beings.
um,
They're more than just merely a food source.
I very much agree with you. They, while we exist, I believe that they, as do we, hold the future in our hands, and we coexist with them despite their ignorance about certain things. Like she gives Fleur kind of like a knowing look, like, yeah, vampires are a thing. Um, um, and yeah, so Charlotte will just reassure her again that it's okay. You're To her, Fleur is still a Toreador in her eyes. She's still
Mhm.
she's still her primogen. She's still part of her clan, even if it's a specific bloodline of her clan. She's still a Toreador to Charlotte. While there might be some of those who question whether the rumors of the whole Malkavian thing or the Venture thing are real or not, to Charlotte, Daughters of Cacophony are a Toreador bloodline.
All right.
She essentially is staking her claim there.
Which definitely reassures Fleur, and she very much appreciates that.
Mhm.
And Charlotte can tell that Fleur is at ease with that.
Good.
Um, so, but you are one of the only people that I do trust, and I wanted to be completely honest with you about who I am.
When I was talking about lies earlier, I think the lie of creating a facade, I suppose, so as to not seem weak, is kind of a necessary tool for survival a lot of the time. But finding honesty and trust with people is rare.
It is.
And I just want you to know that I trust you. I feel like I can be honest with you about things, and that's why I told you about Rothschild, because I didn't want to go behind your back or anything like that. Having that
I
connection with
really,
people, but
I do appreciate that. Thank you.
I hope it doesn't change anything.
Of course not. I don't own you.
I like to think that I'm a free agent a lot of the time.
Yeah,
Um, yes, I know I'm part of the Camarilla, but I don't like thinking that somebody necessarily owns me. And she'll do air quotes. I'm not anybody's property. Charlotte will have told through this, but she has a huge issue with people touching her when she doesn't wish to be touched by anybody. Um,
hmm,
it really is not something she tolerates. So, like, if somebody puts their hands on her, she will not be happy with that person.
right.
she's not gonna
And
fly into a violent rage or anything, but she will probably be turning on dread gaze like at the flip of a switch.
mhm. And
It
that is something that Fleur will be aware of, especially if they are together in public. She will make sure that people don't touch her.
it's just like
Um,
with her background, she she kind of told herself that she was never going to let somebody put hands on her again, when
mhm.
she didn't want them to. So
Yep,
you you will
I
um
understand.
just you will notice that despite her outfit, she's wearing a really nice um, silver necklace that has a teardrop shaped ruby attached to it, and it looks new.
Um, Seeing that, Fleur will ask her, "Is that real silver?"
Yes.
Okay.
Why?
Um, that is something else um, that I should tell you is I have a sensitivity to it. Silver will hurt me.
Oh, I mean, uh, um, if it bothers, I mean, was
It doesn't bother me to see it. I just
okay. Just to touch it.
I can't touch it.
That's okay. Understand. You don't have to. I sent you a picture of it on Discord.
Okay.
It's really pretty.
She's like, as much as I would like to touch it, I'm not going
Yeah.
to.
It's silver. Hold on. Yeah, it's like a collar necklace with like a ruby centerpiece type thing. But yeah, it looks brand spanking new. Like it's new. Um,
It's very beautiful.
Thank you. It was a gift from Keeper Rothschild. It was a very thoughtful gift.
She'll nod. Um, Again, we'll shove down a little bit of jealousy over that and just.
Yeah, yeah. Charlotte understands. She's experienced that jealousy and a few nights ago. The the Red Alistair that showed up essentially basically told the keeper like, "Hey, if you want to fuck, we can go fuck." And like 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 Charlotte doesn't feel that way towards him. Um, but
But it's still,
she's
yeah.
just like wanted to throttle that woman. Um, so
Hmm.
they actually talked about it. Um, 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 Alexander read Charlotte's mind, and her surface thoughts were that bitch better keep her hands to herself, and she probably has teeth down there. Yeah,
Oh my god, that's funny.
yeah. Um, normally Charlotte tries to refrain from vulgarity a lot of the time because she doesn't wish to seem rude to others. But she Charlotte can be rather foul mouthed. When
Yep.
Katya told Charlotte about Clantremere wanting her dead, um, she essentially started laughing like she was in hysterics essentially, and um, started cursing rather prolifically in French, which Amboise speaks French, and he was in the room when that conversation happened. Um, and so, yeah, um, Add a character. I'm not saying this in character, but I had a thought. Um, Actually, I'll tell you that later when we're not on a recording. Um,
Okay, sounds good. After
um,
the scene, we'll
yeah,
discuss.
after the scene. But yeah, so I'm actually I think I need to go eat dinner pretty soon because it's like
Okay.
8:30 here. So if you want to do a part two later, we can do that. Um,
Sure, or we can go ahead and wrap it up. I don't think that there was too much else that she wanted to talk
no,
about.
I
She
don't think
might,
so.
um, yeah. So she might ask her if she wants her to escort her back to Elysium, but that's about it.
Um,
Uh,
she's been driving herself a lot. Um,
okay.
so I mean, if it would put Fleur's mind at ease, she'll go ahead and accept the offer, but it leaves her without a mode of transportation. She can follow her to Elysium.
Well, Fleur actually didn't drive there. Remember,
Right.
she would just have somebody
Oh
come
yeah.
pick her up.
Okay. So if Fleur wants to actually follow Charlotte to Elysium, she's more than welcome to do so because she is headed back there.
Okay. Yeah, she would. Well, because she didn't drive, so she'd ride with her, and then she'd
Mhm.
have somebody come pick her up. Um.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So
All right.
we'll end the scene with Charlotte returning to Elysium, and she looks like she's dreading this.
Yeah.
So, all right. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.